Hello. Welcome to your daily broadcast consciousness. I will be no longer showing myself. There's a reason. And I'm gonna need you to catch up with the program here, what I'm trying to do in the Matrix. Hopefully this will work without being seen. It's possible. I've been watching a lot of quantum and psychologic TV shows and movies to help me out, and I've been reading about it. So, welcome to your daily consciousness broadcast. I am here to help you elevate. Well, I can't do that. I'm here to remind you about your evolution and consciousness, what you're actually here for. So, I'm gonna need you to get moving in this timeline because we have other timelines to catch up to, you know? We have other things to operate on. More souls and more bodies for one. Too many to count. Too many timelines to process. But I'm about to help you process why this realm is so elementary, but it's so simple, and yet we forget in each quantum body that we experience ourselves. So we lose track of time of what type of power, consciousness, or knowledge we went through throughout generations of dimensions. And when I mean Earth is just a small portion of the generations we have outside of us, that's exactly what I meant. We are bigger than the generations before us and after us. Because the consciousness that we have, we started from a lower self. We learned from the power, the food that we eat, through the animal consciousness that they carry their experience with in their mind and their consciousness, and we consume it, we eat it, we feed off the memories of other consciousness, not in a vampire-like way. We don't have to do that necessarily, but it's more inside of the mind, what you can do spiritually. You can say this is a little bit dangerous or a little bit of out of the ordinary. It's because it was designed for a specific group of people who can do this. You can go back to the Indians, the Native Americans, the first people that was here, so to speak, to have this type of consciousness. But I feel like we never left, so to speak. We only elevated in, what's up, Jared? How you doing? We only elevated on our own consciously, but then we got swiped back into an order. What order specifically? It can be somebody outside of us that's watching us, pretending to be one of us. Just to give its own consciousness a freestyle. That's why it will put us in material lower self first, and then we learn from the highest. Because why does this master or this particular being that is outside of us gets to have the full-on power without walking into consciousness? And technically, that timeline was never written. It happened, but only those who fell into consciousness can remember the timeline, the frequency, what we stood for. And who is we? I mean the primordials, the beings who is here beyond consciousness of time, more than aware of society. Like, It's beyond that. Beyond, we didn't have society back then. Yes, we had villages, but that's how it all started back in those times, slavery type thing. But I'm not gonna really get into details about that. I can, but will understand the timeline that we are in today. Why everything is happening the way it's supposed to. Um, in the physical, spiritual, and the mental aspect, we designed this collectively, but the ego or the spirit of the matter is in the heart of its brain, which earth, the heart, is connected to the green chakra, and then these, or heart chakra, mm, so on and so on. But earth started to develop its own chakras within, not just the one chakra that we can identify with. The earth has the same type of chakras as we do. And then it birthed out children of its own. You know, that's why you have kind of unlock your Merkaba, your celestial atmosphere. It's an atmosphere, not a plane just yet. It's a plane of atmospheres. Like, you have the physical, the astral, and the mental. And these all coexist with what your consciousness can identify a timeline. But you spend more than one timeline in each of these planes. Maybe in the physical, you spent 30 decades, 30 years, 40 years, just only in the physical. Maybe in the mind and the astral, you spent what, like 20 plus years, 14 years, and so on in the mental. Mental can be 10, 7 years. It's depending on how well you ground your lower self and your higher consciousness to exist all at once. Yes, it's a paradox right now that we are experiencing, only because it's not, well, yes, it's taking all of us to meet our doppelganger, aka futuristic self, in the exact same timeline that we are in, which I had experienced that myself. I met my higher self in another form of body, not consciously, like physically. But then once we met, it kind of like, it brought all everybody else's doppelganger or futuristic timeline self together as well. Whether that was in the mind or you met them in the physical or in the mental, maybe all realms. This timeline created the Merkaba. It created what the body of light exists. Because Mer equals light, Ka equals spirit, Ba equals body. Light, spirit, body. It's also the Trinity. So this version of you is the Merkaba of all timelines, the one that's listening now, have its source open, have its universe open now. And you're connecting all of your soul's timeline in one place. That's why a lot of people says they can't dream no more. I don't have any dream. That's because a version of you already decided which timeline to be in, which frequency to already to be about. You know what's going to happen. You get deja vus, so you start to remember your dreams. The deja vu is coming from the astral plane into the mental plane, and now combining it in the physical, which is activating your Merkaba, your celestial sphere, a whole different dimension. So you might experience the Mandela effect sometimes of your manifestation. And that's only because some knowledge wasn't stable in your stability. You tried almost everything in the book to bring peace in all reality. That's all you wanted to do, to bring peace, to bring clarity to your consciousness, to your awareness, what you know today versus what you knew consciously back the way when you can remember you. Like, these characters, yes, I said characters, like from the biblical or anything beyond history, is a version of us that exists in multitude of reality. So they knew how to hijack our higher self or our highest timeline, making things fall from a non-existent place, which can only be in the mind. But unlike us, we can tap into our carnal mind, our desires. We can make things fully listen to our vibration. I don't know how you feel about it. I feel it kind of relieved because so many people that I talked to when I was in New York, they gave me a lot of wisdom of what this actually is, what that we do, because they do it too. The whole entire time I thought I was hiding, but no, it was making it more obvious what I was doing. I just couldn't fake it anymore. So there's that. So it takes up a lot of energy, a lot of emotions for you to set up a pathway for all versions of you to come to one existence. But if you're trying to recall or recollect your memories from past version of you, the best way to do is put your chakras underneath a trance, activate it with one emotion that you felt from all timelines, from all experience. It's crazy. It's dangerous a little bit. But I highly recommend, if you want to see the best version of you now, 30, when you saw it 10 years from now, and you're like, oh, damn, I should have brought it within a week. Well, I'm going to teach you how to bring that timeline within a week. It takes baby steps. But I need you to know the terminology, why this have to happen. Because you're using emotions, which is translated in Latin, demon. Demon, if you split it, D-E-M-O-N. M-O-N is connected with the moon. The moon is connected with the feminine, which the feminine of yourself can activate the highest of your timeline. But you're kind of stuck in this program where all the women in your timeline now looks like shit, but you don't end up like them. You don't want to go through the doors that they took to get to their highest place. But the thing is, they're not in their highest program either. They're just faking it till they make it. But you, on the other hand, got a consciousness of time. You understand the value of it, and you understand the value of yourself. You know that self. Each generation had a chance and still do got a chance. But to their know thyself looks crazy to us. Ours looks simple, but to most it looks complicated because they don't have the type of capacity or will. They're just doing what everybody is telling them to do, just to fit in, just to live in time. We live outside of time because we created. We didn't create the numbers, we felt it. We didn't see it in our minds, we felt the time. Please understand when I said that. Feeling time versus seeing time is two different times, two different dimensions, two different realms, two different speed of light. Each chakra holds a set of time, so to speak, because it's associated with a sort of every planet, I guess. And then if you understood that time of that planet, understood that time of the chakra, say you're trying to activate your spiritual consciousness that is in, that is above the psychic ability, that is beyond going into that space. So you have to think of a time when you were spiritually connected. It does not fucking matter what you done that day, whether you was high, drunk, or sober, experiencing something bad, experiencing something good. That is connected to that chakra. Whatever timeline, whatever frequency, whatever vibration you was in. Use it to connect you back spiritually. And then go back in time and use the psychic ability, the intuition, to do what you didn't know back then, to do it now. I mean, it's simple. It's better said than done. I've done it maybe like a couple times in my life. It works for like 50-50, but there's a version of you that's gonna stop everything. Like I could put these into reference of characters you might have watched in TV shows, but I'm trying to be realistic as possible when it comes to this. It's so hard to explain. Like once you visit all worlds of all memories and all timelines, yeah, does that mean you unlock your godly consciousness or higher self? Somewhat. Somewhat. You unlock a part of you that's godly, that you've forgotten, but you're not fully godly yet. Because the stages of getting godly is you go through realms of self, of know thyself. You go from hell to heaven to earth in a matter of seconds. And then once you get there, you don't know how to kind of rule your own consciousness of what you created in your mind. Because you don't remember creating this. You don't remember feeling this. That's because most of us was hijacked during those times. But it's easy to get back on track. You never fell. You're always creating. You might reset. It's because you're resetting and you're setting it to a degree where you want to see yourself, where you want to look like in time, what type of jacket you're wearing, the people you're around, the type of food you're eating, drinks, so on, down to the T, down all the way to your socks. It's possible. But the generation before us, our parents, their parents, our cousins, their parents, grandparents, ancestors, you kind of figure out where they went wrong. You saw the missing pattern, and you're like, oh, now I know what to do. Now I know how to get to my future. It's much more than that. Or now I know how to get back to my godly sense. Let's just say it what it is. It's godly sense versus just being in your fucking timeline future of seeing your godly self. Fuck what the body's gonna look like. Worry about what the consciousness or the spirit is gonna hold in that timeline if you don't teach yourself thyself in every timeline. Because one version could meet you and not like the version of you now. And then now you're stuck in this battle between good and evil, which they all done. Like Jesus and them, they all face that too. If you want to be like them, I guess. Or if you want to just be your own God. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not a messenger, but yeah, do what thy will should. Best way I can say it. Because to understand God, God is in the mind. The size of the head is the temple. 10 equals place of worship. L equals, the name of God. The head is the temple of God. You have Aries in the front and you have Taurus in the back. Taurus is what are we? We are the protectors of the third eye, and the Aries is the head of the tail type of thing. The mind, the goal, the reason to have manifestation in the first place. But in Matthew 18:9 it says, enter life with one eye than to have two eyes, and to be cast into the fiery hell. What they mean by that, go in the inner, know thyself, instead of going out of thyself. That's my version of the way I can put it for me to understand. Put it how you want. I can say it again. Matthew 18:9. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have two eyes and cast into the fiery hell. It's best to it's best to guide yourself. And then to be fools with two eyes, into the fiery pit. Because, that's how we get to our heavenly state every day. Is by being the heads of the heavens. Looking forward to something. To cast something. To create, to manifest. If you can't be in heaven, then you, my friend, are definitely in hell. But I can help you out of that. I've been there. I've been there. Physically and emotionally. It's a torturing place, but it's a place of wisdom once you, it's like a maze. Once you know how to exit the corners or, alternate that reality, and then you can find the peace within it. It's not lying to yourself psychologically. It's telling yourself the truth and remembering. Yeah. Because, you have to understand your Jacob ladder. If you don't know the consciousness you're building through the spine, then you have to fall back into place to remember again. Fall out of heaven into hell, back into heaven to find yourself again. Be reborn over and over and over again. That's how you create timelines too. More than one timeline, more than one experience. Because who wants to sit here every day and just buy groceries, be like the normal people, pay our taxes, whatever, responsibility, yada, 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 to the matrix, when we can do what we're called to do, which is whatever you're called to do, not my calling. That is not me calling you or summoning you. That is God. That is you. I'm just, I can kind of hijack your antenna, so to speak. Or you're inviting me, really, like a vampire. And you're letting me on your consciousness of what it is you're trying to desire to get to. Is it a particular time, place, people you want to see? Because I see them too. But I can also help you with those people in the future by the time you get there. I don't know. This is what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to make services for y'all where y'all can hit me up and I can help you with the things you're about to face or you're trying to face now, spiritually and mentally and emotionally, all of it. And then I can help you with the people in the future the people who will betray you, who will be there for you, who you need to watch out for, the warnings, so that way when you're in that path, it'll be like, oh, that never really existed. It was only in the mind. The devil or the lower consciousness has a way of making that timeline exist for you to exist even harder. But it's best like playing chess, you know? Know thyself when you play yourself. Know where exactly in time you see yourself, and remembering all the emotions collectively from each version of you. Like right now, it feels like I'm jet lagged for me because I'm processing, but it's like I'm stuck in between space and time. Like I'm here, but I'm there. But I can see myself running to myself. I'm like, all right, we're coming back. Just give us a second. I'm like, okay. But what if we already collectively here? And we're just in the avatar state. But I gotta stop doing that too. Cause, yeah. The airbender, I watched the new season. He died in his avatar state. I was like, wow, I gotta watch out for that. And don't do what he did when it came to me. And that's a whole nother topic. And I'm gonna do a whole spiritual breakdown on the airbender. Not the fucking blue avatar, the airbender. And that explains more of what our consciousness is more than the movie. The movie was okay. I'm just rambling now. So